Hey everyone, welcome to Provider Spotlight. We are so excited. Every week we get to come here and interview the most amazing people, private practices, practice owners, you name it. We find them, we have them on here, and they have amazing stories to tell, really unique, and have done so much great things for their community. So today, we have an awesome guest. I am extremely happy to introduce Dr. Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me. This is awesome. This is great. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
me too. I'm super excited. I know we have a little bit to dive into, so we'll get to it. So, for everyone listening, tell us your story. What had inspired you to open up your own practice?
Well, basically ended up going to chiropractic school and we looked around for different options, but I really wanted to do my own thing.
Mhm.
I practice a lot different than most chiropractors and had a nice group of people that practice similarly to me. So we have a good community and wanted to find a nice little town to practice in and grow up in. And that I did in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania.
I love it. And such a great and unique town, great community. And so, what's the best way to like boil down, what you do for people? What's the best way to explain, what you do?
Well, I am a chiropractor, graduated in chiropractic school. So, but people tend to think of chiropractic as a bad back relief type of thing, headache relief. And as I said, I practice differently. So I teach people about true health and where health comes from, which comes from within. So it's all about how the body works for us. It's not about really how we feel. A lot of people think that, well, if I feel good, I'm good. And then if I have a symptom or a problem, then there's something wrong, and we go to a medical doctor typically, or if you're in a chiropractor, make that pain go away. And what I do is teach people how to turn on their internal superpowers that we're given, controlled by what we call our innate intelligence and inborn wisdom that runs our bodies with hundreds of thousands of functions, and get that immune system to work right, the healing system, the restoration, the growth, because we're always growing, maybe not in size, but we're always growing new cells and losing old cells and these kinds of things. So we want those functions to work properly. And when they work properly, that's when we're healthy.
Yes. No, I love that. And I really like your approach. It is really different. And what would you say to people that are, they hear of chiropractic and, some of the things that you just described, they think it's this or that or the other, what about your approach and your methodology, diving a little bit deeper into that approach, like how do you really specifically help those individuals besides understanding all of that and taking that really holistic approach, but can you explain a little bit more about how it's so different?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that we have to realize is that our health is under our control.
Mm,
We have given up our control of how we take care of our bodies or our health, these kinds of things. Instead, is learning how to take that control back inside of us and do the specific things and eat the specific foods and change what we're doing to get a better outcome. And that's the hardest thing for us to understand, is that we need to change, whether, as you say, we grow older or what. But I'm a new grandma. I only have my new grandbaby's 5 months old. And I look at it, from birth to that 5 month, how much different her body has functioned. And then how she eats differently and moves differently, these kinds of things. And we change throughout our whole lifetime. We don't stop growing, physically size wise, we will, but, we don't stop growing. We stop growing, I should say, size, but not in new cells, not in developmental stages, because we're always developing. We're adapting organisms and adapting to our environment all the time. We adapt to the weather change, we adapt to these kinds of things. So I use the whole concept of health not being just a physical thing, but it's a mental, emotional, and spiritual package as well. Plus, I also work on teaching people about toxins and how they interfere with our processes that go on inside of our bodies. I do a class on Fridays and just did that earlier today. And that's what we were talking about, is what are the things that block us from developing into our fullest potential, whether it be health, you know, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, even work, right? Relationships, community. And these are all a part of health. They're not separate, but they all work together. So it really makes such a huge difference, you know, especially like community, hanging out with people that support you in what you're doing, right? When you go to the gym, you know, you got a group of people that you work out with, you know, or people that eat like you, or people that have good relationships like you, these kinds of things. It's really highly impactful and intentional for our health.
No, I love that so much. And I there's so many things that you hit on there that made so much sense that the light bulbs are just going on and off here. And
Great.
so, you know, one, you said that, we are continuing to grow in cells. And so that makes sense at every stage of life, we should be looked at. And I just had a conversation with someone else is that, we see the dentist twice a year. We do all these, we see get a physical every year. We do all these things, right? Because we are continuing to grow, to change, right? And why shouldn't we be doing this in this area? So I think that makes sense that you've seen people from, time that they were pretty much born to, as they grow, because it's important. And then how much, how you feel affects, you know, your pain levels or things that are going on, and having that community is a big part of, getting better, and being able to share with people. And I love that you have connected those, because it's such a breath. Don't you feel better when you're with your people and you're like, that was awesome, right?
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, no doubt. No
So
doubt. Yeah, it's incredible. And I think we keep things so separate, right? You know, if we have a pain in our elbow, it's a problem with our elbow, but that's not necessarily true. It could come from your wrist, it could come from your neck, it could come from all these different places. It could come from a muscle, it could come from nerve, it could come from lack of nutrition. And we think, oh, if we just get to that root cause and fix it, you know, and but we have to look at what we're doing to ourselves on a daily basis, how we talk to ourselves, right? And that's a huge thing as well. How are we stopping ourselves from either letting pain go? Because sometimes pain is letting you know to just chill out,
yeah.
take the day off. You know, you might need to rest, you might need to eat. You know, there's so many different things and so many different approaches.
Yeah, it's about not only being aware of what your body is telling you, but aware of what you're doing to your body too.
Exactly. Exactly.
Love it. See, fireworks. I think people, a lot of people, they might hear that and they're like, that makes sense. And a lot of things in life are just so simple, but it doesn't occur to us until we hear
Mhm.
it and we're like, duh, like, of course, that makes so much sense. So I'm glad that you're telling us this, because sometimes we all need a good reminder to just pay attention just a little bit more. Life can go
Yeah,
fast, right? We're like,
sure.
boom, 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 and we don't
Yeah,
pay attention.
yeah.
I love that. So you mentioned it just ever so slightly before, but talking about maybe what some other chiropractors do, or maybe just confusion in general about, people might hear, "Oh, I heard someone that got this type of service done," or "Someone told me that this is actually what chiropractic is." What do you feel like, commonly, you're maybe being asked questions about? What are some like misconceptions? What are you like, oh my gosh, I wish somebody knew XYZ?
Well, yeah, it goes back to true health, basically. Like I said, that health comes from within. And
Yeah.
chiropractic actually works on your central nervous system. But
Mm-hmm.
we use the bones of the spine, which house and protect that central nervous system. So, but if those bones are out of place at all, even the tiniest little bit can interfere with the nerve flow, which is what controls everything that goes on inside of our bodies.
Yeah.
So, whether you feel it or not is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. You can have a bone out of place, which is interfering with how, like, say, your heart is functioning.
Yeah.
We can't feel the difference of it functioning 100% or 70%,
Yeah.
right? I can't feel that. I
Yeah.
can feel it if it's failing, but
Mm-hmm.
if it's functioning at 70%, it's not functioning to its fullest potential, which means we are not as healthy as we could be or should be. So by getting checked by a chiropractor regularly, even if you don't hurt and you have a bone out of place and you get adjusted and bring it back to place, what it's doing is allowing that body to function more correctly
Yeah.
and more to that fullest potential. So not to base health on how you feel, because it's really, when you look at it, it's a lie. For instance, if you eat rotten food, what do? If our body is healthy, we're going to vomit, diarrhea,
Yep.
high fever sometimes. We feel like crap, but that's your body protecting you, is getting that toxin out so it doesn't kill you.
Mm.
So we've been programmed that symptoms are bad, but symptoms actually can be something very good, like in that instance. Or it could be the opposite end of the spectrum. Can you feel whether your body's creating a healthy cell or a cancer cell? We can't feel the difference.
Nope.
But you accumulate those cancer cells, you're not in a good, healthy state. But we can't feel that process. So health is about how we function, not about how we feel. So we need to work on things that create good function and eliminate the things that interfere with that function.
I love
And
that.
that's what I teach, especially online with the coaching and guiding.
Yes. And I want you to get into the coaching because I think that's really important. But one thing you just hit the nail on the head, which I loved, was, almost don't wait for the symptom. Now, the symptom can be, a good thing. Your body is telling you something, but also, why are you waiting for the fire alarm to happen?
Mhm,
Like, don't,
mhm,
let's already take corrective action and say, hey, like, this is what you should be doing and this is how it can make things better. You don't know what's good or bad right now, but let's not wait until you're like, like this is
mhm.
terrible. So I love that. But I digress. I want to hear about the coaching. I think everyone would really, really love that.
Well, that really transitions into coaching, and the understanding is basically we really should maintain our body's health on a daily basis, and we typically don't as human beings.
Mhm.
We do wait until it falls in the toilet and then we try to pull it out, or when it starts to fail and then try to get it to heal. And healing takes time, and that's hard. So the thing is that if we could work on ourselves all the time, be aware of what we're eating, how our body's responding to that food or lack of food, or whatever the case may be, so that we can create greater function, then we typically have less of that falling into the toilet kind of response, right?
Yeah.
And and it's interesting because the body changes with weather, it changes with emotion and these kinds of things, and then you could start to see, like, lack of sleep. How does that affect your body? Oh, I eat a lot of this, how does that affect my body? But if we change it and you start to learn to integrate new nutrition or different nutrition, higher nutrition, get rid of the less dense foods, reduce your toxin overload, will make a huge difference in the long run. Health is just like finances, right? You put your money in an investment, and over time, it creates more money. If it's a good investment, if it's a bad investment, it takes away your money. Health
Yeah.
is the same way. It's a long term, it's a lifetime. It's an experience. It's not a one time shot, and that's where we've been reduced to, is that, we go to the doctor when we don't feel right, and here, take this medication. It's a one time shot just to fix it a little bit. But if you work on your body all the time, you'll have more energy, more exposed. It's just incredible when you have full potential. It makes us live younger and longer. And that's my biggest motto, is that if we can keep our bodies functioning, I mean, basically, if you look in the Bible, it says we should live to 120 years old. Time Magazine did a great write up of it, oh gosh, many years ago now, and say probably about 8 years ago, about how our body should last 120 years. You can even on Netflix, there are a documentary on centurions, people
Yes,
that
I
live to
saw that.
100. And it's so cool, but when you look at it, it's just basic health, of movement, which I call functional movement, is move your body in opposite ways that you don't move all the time. Keep the body working front to back, side to side, and that's the whole thing. It's all about that balance. And when we just don't do that, we get out of balance. And that's when what we call it is dis-ease. The body is not in ease. It's not functioning fully.
Mhm.
We're in dis-ease. And this is pre-disease,
Yeah.
right? So that's what happens, is with the bone out of place, causes nerve interference. The body can't work correctly, creates this dis-ease. The body is not functioning in ease, and then left there year after year after year after year. And that's what will, downfall into disease. So you have that accumulation in the negative. We want to see the accumulation in the positive.
100%. And I love what you said about health being an investment. You can make a good investment and have, like the money grows, your health grows, right? It's a positive trend. Or you can make a really bad investment and you can be making poor decisions and then your health declines, right? The money declines. So, I think that's something that everyone can get on board with. And by the way, I did watch one of those documentaries on the blue zones and I thought it was amazing. You see this person that's like 103 years old and they're sitting on a hardwood floor, sitting, crossing their legs, getting back up. And if you're 103, even if you're 93, how difficult that is, but they're doing it great. And I saw something, a common thing with all those folks was mindset too, something that we've talked about here. And it's that mindset and just surrounding yourself with great community. And so I love that you had talked about this because it's exactly what I saw and how they were thriving. Thriving.
Yeah, so they continually do it. And that's the thing, it's, you start to go up the steps and your knee hurts. So you say, okay, I'm not going to do steps anymore. Well, once you stop doing those things, then you can't do them.
Yep.
So if we continue that, but we say, okay, well, what's going on in my body that's making that a little stressful walking up the steps? Can I change what I'm doing to make my body stronger and healthier that it can do those steps instead of just backing off and not doing it anymore? And that's the key is, again, our nutritional values change. We need different nutrition at different times of our lives. So it might be something nutritional, it could be lack of use, these kinds of things. So if we can remember and look at ourselves from day to day and what we're doing and living in the moment, being aware of our responses to what we do to ourselves. Was I exposed to tons of toxins? Did I drink a lot of alcohol? Did I eat too much sugar? These kinds of things will affect your body in pain, inflammation, and disease processes as well.
100%. I think people that will be watching are like, yeah, I need to start making better investments today, now.
That's a great way. Yes.
Yes, right. And speaking of that, like, is there anything that, you would say that we could do a better job of right now? Like, what is some of the best investments that we can make today, starting today, easy things, whatever, anything that they can incorporate in our daily lifestyle that you think would be, man, if you can get some of these basics down, you're headed in the right path.
Yeah. Well, definitely, minimizing, a lot of the toxins. Sugar is, I don't want to say deadly, but if you eat a lot of sugar, yes, please get rid of sugar as much as you possibly can. It'll throw off your sugar balances in your body. It'll throw things off. If you're not being seen by a chiropractor, go to a chiropractor. Even if you go once a month for a maintenance type of thing, more frequently is better. But, opening up those nerve channels is getting your body working right to begin with. I always say that broccoli is probably one of the best vegetables you can eat, but if you're not working right inside, that you can't digest and break down and absorb that broccoli, I don't care how much you eat of it, it's not going to work. So let's get our bodies working right from the inside out. And that's really important. Chiropractic is where it starts. And, move in different ways. Simple things that can be done. You don't have to do this massive workout, but most people don't put their arms above their heads. And so you stop doing that, you're not going to be able to do it, so keep that functional motion moving. So do the back. We always do the front. That's the way we live, this way. So stretch back, these kinds of things. Drink a glass of lemon water first thing in the morning. And if it's warm, it's even better before you eat or drink anything else. That'll help open up your liver. Your liver is your major thing in your detoxification center. Help that to work better for you. See, don't use food as thy medicine to treat any illness or disease, but use that food to give your body the building blocks of nutrition that it actually needs for your cells to work for you. And that's the key, is really to get your body working better for you. And once you start doing that, you'll enjoy life so much more. It makes it fun. Make it fun. It doesn't have to be hard. If you have kids, learn how to cook different foods and, like lots of fruits and vegetables. I mean, little simple things that you can just, let's eliminate the pasta tonight and we'll put in this instead. You can do rice, you can do other things. Do not follow the normal food pyramid. Eat lots of fruits and vegetables. As I look at it, it's like if you look out your window, what color do you primarily see? And that's usually green if you live where there's trees. If you're in the city, it's a little hard, but think about the things that grow off the land. That's what we are meant to eat.
I love
So yeah. Yeah. So simple things. We just have to start thinking a little bit outside the box that we're programmed to eat out of a box. Box is not really food. It's less processed, whole foods, again, those little steps will make a big difference in your life.
And I love that. And I love how you explain, people just say eat better, but they don't really explain why. And I love that you were like, okay, drink the lemon water first thing in the morning. Helps with your liver. Your liver detoxifies for you. So like, there's people that just don't explain enough. And so there's not a good reason for them to go and do it because they're like, they said just drink more water, but they don't explain about why that's going to help them. But you also said warm water, if you can, is the key. Is there a certain reason for that or something that helps with the warm water opposed to cold?
Well, it's much more soothing to the digestive process. So, and then that warmth helps that liver to, start to clean out a little bit. They've done studies on it. It helps to like fatty liver. You've heard of that. And they say within a couple of weeks, if you do that lemon water, it helps to decrease that fatty liver.
I love that. See, warm water with lemon. Super simple, everybody. I think, just even one of these few things and just making small changes over time and making it routine and I love how you said, make it fun. Figure out how to make it fun and you do it with a friend, do it with your family, make little small changes. So, Dr. Lisa, this has been so amazing. I appreciate all these really great golden nuggets that you've given everyone. And before we leave today, in case anyone wants to get in touch with you, learn more, what is the best way to do that? How can they ask some more questions if they'd like to?
Well, they can go to my website and it's www.doctor spelled out DOCTOR lisab.com. So that's either the best way. I'm on Facebook under lisa.bleicher.1. So I am on LinkedIn as well, Dr. Lisa Bleicher, and on Instagram at doclisa13. So yeah, so I, try to get out there. I'm actually part of a book. I am in a chapter of Overcoming Mediocrity. And it was a group published book, which is fantastic. But that's sort of my basic story of how I got into health. And yeah, so I am currently working on an experiential program that will be released in the next couple of months. And yes, so I'm very excited about that. I am still doing a little bit of market research to make sure the program is, complete, will be experiential versus being told what to do. I want people to actually take the changes and integrate it into their life so they actually get the results. So that's my goal and that's what I'm working on. And yeah, any questions or anything, please contact me. I do free consults and things like that as well. I love to share. I will be probably putting out some little workshops here and there. So keep your eyes peeled. I will be on the platforms and sharing that as well.
Wow, you have a lot on the fire. I'm super excited for you. And folks, definitely reach out to Dr. Lisa. This has been great, really informational. And especially if you're local, definitely stop in. So thanks, Dr. Lisa, again for your time and for all the knowledge.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get to talk soon.
Yes, most definitely.